someone in my building was mugged, and there was someone else that evening that was also mugged, and then later in the week it was there was a shooting. So, and all of it happened in our block that we live on, so close to home.
Right now we're having a problem. We're having an issue right now, so there's no holds barred.
Concerned residents pack into Harlem's public library after work, here to meet with the NYPD about a rise in crime they've noticed on their streets.
The muggings in the past 2 weeks and the shooting really gave the community, made the community extremely anxious, and we thought that needed to be addressed.
The Mount Morris Park Community Improvement Association brought Harlem's 28th Precinct head, Deputy Inspector Rodney Harrison, and his boss, Chief Philip Banks, to explain what police know.
Even though the crime is down, we're still having some issues in a couple of areas here. And one of the areas we're having an issue is 120 and Lenox Avenue. 120th and Lenox Avenue. We've unfortunately had an individual shot, and we also had 3 robberies within the same vicinity within the last 28-day period.
What will be your advice for the community if you see...
One by one, residents told police what they've experienced in the neighborhood. This woman says her block has also seen 3 muggings recently.
There was one that was pushed, and I told her that she was very lucky. They actually pushed her in her building and just robbed her.
Someone called my home to say that they had a package to deliver, and when I come downstairs, because there was no parking, so it sounded a little suspicious, but I came downstairs anyway. 5 minutes went by, no one came to the door. I called the person back because I have caller ID. She said she would stop by the police, but she's going to send a 2-man team to deliver the package later. Now, no one ever came to deliver any package, but I do have her phone number and her name from her cell phone. What should I do with that?
When I walk past there, I'm afraid. Because I see the gang of boys hanging out there. I see them harassing people. I've seen them get into fights literally before my eyes in that corner. So I want to know what's being done to disperse those groups that are hanging there at night.
We've actually identified a territorial crew, I don't want to use the word gang, a territorial crew that hangs out over on 120 and Advocate Power. They call themselves the Can't Be Touched Boys. That's the new flavor now. And ladies and gentlemen, please, it's a serious game. I'm getting a couple of giggles.
These crews are young kids, basically operating as bullies. They look for people walking alone and then take advantage. Robbing, beating, and even shooting.
One of the things I'm trying to do is get to all the cops treated with a sense of urgency over there. And if you're driving by and you see kids hanging out there, engage them. Grab their ID. Make them feel uncomfortable. Whatever you have to do to make sure that these territorial crews feel very, very uncomfortable, and send them on their way. Do not let them congregate, do not let them hang out. When they're hanging out, all they're waiting to do is wait for that one person to walk by as a prey, and they're gonna try to attack them.
The Can't Be Touched boys are not alone, though. Other 3-letter crews like ATGs, CBTs, and NFTs are also terrorizing the area.
I'm going to always challenge you, just like I'm going to ask you to challenge myself. And I'm going to ask you to challenge Inspector Harrison. Because the police department, and I'm going to get in trouble, and I'm going to say this on camera, Mr. Kelly's probably going to, the police department does better when they're challenged.
Chief Banks oversees Harlem's 28th precincts and 11 other command posts in Manhattan. He described the harsh reality of a shortage of officers and funds, but gave tips on how the neighborhood could work together to stop this crime spree.
When I talked about the police department and the community working together, there is nothing stopping the block from getting together and raising the funds to put those cameras up themselves. And I would say that if funds are an issue, put up dummy cameras until you can get real cameras. Because the fact remains that when people see those cameras, they are going to go to a block where there are no cameras at.
Officers also reminded people to use common sense. Be aware of your surroundings. Trust your gut. Don't display valuable items like iPods. While many of the tips from this meeting sounded like living in New York 101, some here appreciated tackling the issue with neighbors.
And I lived there for about 3 years, and I don't know most of the people that lives in the community. And it's good when we can come together.
No, this is my first trip to the meetings, and I was really impressed with the number of people that showed up.
It's like how they were saying about the young children. Come summertime, they'll be out there. I know, I come down 125th Street, and sometimes they behave really bad, but they never trouble me.
My daughter tends to use it because she thinks that it's safer for her to be on the phone if someone approaches her, but that's wrong. No.
The officers stayed after the meeting to address everyone's questions and concerns, and Inspector Harrison gave out his personal email so residents could keep him informed on the situation.
Like the police officer said, I really don't feel like we're unsafe. He said we live in one of the safest neighborhoods. We just have a lot of things to do to kind of get together as a community and make the people that are doing the bad things feel unsafe in our neighborhood and make ourselves feel safe.
As elders in the community, we just have to watch out for our children, you know, because a lot of them are in an environment in their home where they don't get a lot of love. And when they come out on the street, they only come out on the street to have friends, to be a part of the action of what's going on. And sometimes they get into the wrong crowd that get them into trouble. But we just have to stay alert.
I'm Dante Higgins for All Things Harlem.